Hey, listen to Commander Cookout Podcast, episode 85. I'm Brando. I'm here with Ryan. Today we're going to start our brand new arc with a mono white list. Now hit our theme song! Hey, Ryan. We're back for yet another whirlwind adventure. How you doing?
Good. What's going down?
Whole ton is going down. New week, new month, new arc. Whole bunch of exciting stuff coming up. Also means new giveaway.
Whoa.
And we're going to hype our new videos on our sort of new YouTube page.
New and improved YouTube page.
I like that. Improved because there's actual videos on it.
Yeah, what YouTube is for.
Yes. So that's neat. Those went up last week, and not to put too much emphasis on them, but I just am really proud of them, and I'm very happy that we are expanding our reach to our audience. And thank you guys so much for the support in allowing us to do that.
Yeah, very much so. You say, smash that like button on the video. On the podcast, I say, listen until all the way till the very end, because that helps. I don't know. That's like a YouTube thing. Make sure you watch until the very end.
Is that a thing?
Apparently. I don't know.
Nah, I don't know how that all works. I'm not a social media guy. Leave that up to you.
Our videos don't actually have like an extra on the end. It's just like we talk until the video's over and then boom, it's done.
Yeah. Well, sometimes there's a funny little physical gag at the end.
Do not Google that.
Correct. Oh, that's terrible.
So I was going to say, where do you want to start? But we already started on YouTube, so I guess let's get into it. Check out the YouTube channel. We are in the process of, I don't know, what's the word? Storyboarding? More stuff.
Yes, that is true.
And we're going to try to launch maybe a video every week, but we do record multiple things at once and then work through the editing process. So there is kind of a backlog of how we do it.
Yeah, there's a learning curve involved in this, and a time investment that comes along with it. And we're both doing our best, but we both do have other stuff that we do. So we're doing our best, and we'll start churning out content as we have time. But also, we're going to make an effort to do it because you guys have kind of asked for it, which is great.
And it's lots of fun.
Yeah, we have a really good time.
I actually had fun doing it. I am excited to get back in front of the camera now that we've got a couple under our belt that are out on the internet at large, as we called it last week.
Running around in the wild. You
maybe drink some beers, do a couple videos. That sounds like things that I want to do or would like doing.
Yes.
So, I don't know, maybe this weekend we'll do some more.
Yeah, so check those out, and thank you again so much for all of your support.
I will drink beer either way.
Me too.
Very excellent. You had mentioned new giveaway.
New giveaway.
Oh, baby.
So this arc, we've got a very comprehensive, we hope, level up arc that's going to both give you some cool deck ideas and give you some kind of spicy ideas on how to spruce up some decks that might be a little bit lackluster without, shall we say, investing a whole bunch of money in a mana base.
That's right. You say comprehensive arc. This is going to be probably our longest arc ever.
Yeah.
It's going to take us damn near to the end of 2018. And the goal is to, like you said again, level up some of the newer members of CCO Nation, but also give maybe the more experienced listeners or viewers on YouTube, because we're going to incorporate it into the YouTube content, give the more experienced players a new lease on the things we're talking about. You know, you get stuck in, this is what this does, or, this is how you play this color or whatever. And I think that as the king and president of CCO Nation, we haven't called ourselves that for a long time.
No, we haven't.
It is our duty to CCO Nation to flip some stuff on its head.
Yes, and we love doing that, like a pile driver.
Yeah. You came up with the name and kind of the concept for the arc. Why don't you give us a quick rundown?
We're going to call it the arc of the monoproblematic instead of the arc of the monochromatic, where we take the individual colors of Magic, in this case, this week, mono white, and we're going to build a deck, in this case, one that I physically own in real life, that suffers from the big problem of that color, and using nothing but that color and no big money infinite combos, we're going to try and fix it.
Yeah, super easy to take whatever color you want, dump a bunch of mana, money.
Same thing.
The mana of real life. Dump a bunch of money into it, like Lion's Eye Diamond, Auriok Salvager, Bomberman combo, Mana Crypt, Mana Vault, Grim Monolith. No, we're not going to do that because not everybody just has like $1,000 to dump on 5 cards.
Especially if they're playing mono white. If they have $1,000 to dump on 5 cards, you're probably just going to play something better.
Yeah, play a different color. So, yeah, looking at the shortcomings of white, how to work around them, or we're going to talk a whole bunch about card advantage on today's show. What does card advantage mean for white? How does it get it? How do you leverage it? Because it's not physically drawing cards like it might be in blue or green or black. Who are we doing today?
First, the giveaway.
Oh, I forgot about the giveaway. I'm so excited.
Now, part of the arc of the monochromatic is we're going to do monocolored decks. And what we thought would be fun for us, and since it's getting close to Christmas as well.
A deck giveaway.
Close.
Oh.
We're hoping to level up some decks this week, and what we're going to be doing is
giving away a mono white deck.
No.
Oh.
Jesus, just wait. Just wait a second.
I'm excited.
What we're going to do is every week we do card of the week. And what we're going to do this week is we are going to foil out our 6 cards of the week.
6?
At least 6.
At least 6?
At least 6 foil cards of the week, and we're going to give them away.
They better be dang good cards.
Sometimes we play bad cards. Not this week. We're fixing problems this month, this arc, Ryan. We're fixing problems, and the things that fix problems are always good, and everybody likes foil cards.
Oh, I'm so excited.
So that means we can't really tell you right now what we're giving away each week, but each week we're going to add a new card to the giveaway, and as you guys listen along, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, wherever else you want to follow us. We'll get into that in just a second. You'll see what cards get added after each episode, and we're going to build a neat little package for you guys, and we'll get it sent off to you, and hopefully it'll arrive at your house in time for Christmas.
Ooh. Will there be any extra goodies in there?
I'm sure there will be. I mean, everybody likes sweet basics.
Mm-hmm.
I like to level up my basics. I would never expect anybody to play with a non-foil basic.
What's your favorite basic?
Mountain.
No. What's your favorite kind of foil basic?
Full art foil basic?
Sure.
Yeah.
Is that it?
It is.
Some people like alpha or beta, or if you can't afford like $10 basics, whatever. They like the unlimited ones that have the word tap, but they're white bordered. Some people like those.
Now, I have some of those kicking around.
Some people like, everybody likes the Grand Prix ones that we got at GP Vegas this year.
Oh, those are cool.
Those are cool. I like foil old border.
I like the Amonkhet full art foils. Those are the ones I like the best. Yeah. Those are my favorite ones. They got the Talon Gate on them. They got the pyramids and the whole desert motif. That's my jam.
Very excellent. CCO Nation, get at us on Twitter at CCOPodcast or at CCOBrando for telling us your favorite basics.
Yeah, we got a few weeks to come up with them, and whichever one gets the most votes, maybe those are the ones that we'll focus on picking up for the end of the arc.
Okay, how do we win said card of the week? How do we win?
We're being a little bit more specific with this giveaway, and we're trying to push people to our new YouTube page. So a like, a follow, a share on any of our YouTube videos between now and the end of the arc will get you entered in. Comment or subscribe will also get you in. I mean, subscribe, you can only subscribe once, but you can comment on every video if you want, and we'll enter you for every time that you do that, because you're helping us out, you're supporting us, and so we will enter you into the sweetest draw we've done in at least a week. So without further ado, should we talk decks?
Do we want to run through social media coordinates in 30 seconds or less?
Oh my God, you're killing me.
Yeah.
We are CCO Podcast on Twitter and tappedout.net. That's where you can see this week's list, last week's list, next week's list, and any other list that we talk about throughout the course of the show. We are CommanderCookout@gmail.com. That's where you can send us show suggestions, love mail, hate mail, what you think are the problems in monocolored decks, but no nudes.
Monocolored nudes.
That's gross, Ryan. It's gross.
Sure.
We're also Commander Cookout on iTunes, Google Play, Google Machine, YouTube, Facebook, Podomatic, EDHREC.com, Flipside Gaming, where you can use promo code CCOFU to get 10% off your entire order store-wide. And you can still use promo code CCOFU on MTGOnslaught.com to get 15% off of all of your stuff there to pimp your game outside the game. And you can find all of the stuff that I just said and way more on the official home of Commander Cookout Podcast on the entire internet, CommanderCookout.com. I show those to Megan every week, and she just like sinks into her chair in sadness.
Yes.
Because she told me one time, like, that's pretty funny. And now I just show them to her all the time. And she's like, I hate you.
I sink into my chair every time as well. But mostly because I'm trying to escape the sound.
It's not that bad. Come on, man.
Should we do a list?
Let's do a list. And we should start with our general. First of all, let's do a little tease. What set's he from, Ryan? Oh, you know we're in for some good times now, right?
Saviors of Krapagawa.
Oh, baby. We are talking, of course, Runetaile Kitsune Ascendant.
Say it again.
Runetaile Kitsune Ascendant. He is a fox monk, 2/2 for white 2. And he says, when you have 30 or more life, flip him. And then you rotate him 180 degrees, and then the upside down print on the bottom of the card becomes right side up, and it says, prevent all damage that would be dealt to creatures you control. And he is now an enchantment.
A legendary enchantment. So it's not a creature anymore.
It's a legendary enchantment.
So this is what I thought. This would be the most CCO that we could build this deck. You don't cast him until you're below 30 life, so he remains a 2/2. And then you Voltron the crap out of him and kill somebody with general damage.
That is the most CCO thing we could possibly do. And now that you've said that, damn it.
Yeah,
now I have to.
Okay, scrap the show. We're doing something else.
Now I need a package to do that.
No, that is not what we're doing. So
now we're talking 5 swords. We're talking Jeet. We're talking grafted exoskeleton.
Absolutely.
Okay, now we're not actually doing that. We're not actually doing that. Please come back.
Yes.
Okay.
So Runetaile Kitsune Ascendant flips to Runetaile's Essence, and it prevents all damage to creatures you control and is a legendary enchantment. So it becomes a little bit harder to remove because it's an enchantment instead of a creature, and it makes all of the damage that's dealt to your creatures be prevented.
So it kind of puts red and black off of its axis, because now they can't get your guys with damage or by attacking you, and they can't really get rid of your enchantment either because they're red and black.
Yeah, that's a good point. I guess red's mass removal or sweepers is damage based a lot of the time, so that shuts that off. And black has like pestilence or pestilence demon. Like they got real wraths too, so they could probably or just removal.
They just remove your stuff, but it makes it so you have to spend a card to get rid of a thing, and we've talked about that lots. That's tempo. That's not really card advantage, but trading a card for a card is okay.
Well, you know what? When we highlight some of the cards that make tokens, if you play one card and get 3 tokens, one card and you get 2 tokens, like what's 2 tokens? Is that equivalent to 1 card?
Who can say?
In attacking and blocking, maybe it is, but that is kind of how white gets its card advantage. It's going to get it on board, and with something like Runetaile's Essence, you're going to get your card advantage by your stuff not dying.
Yeah, and your stuff is incredibly durable, and maybe not in the build as it is right now, because we're going to talk after we do the actual deck tech and actually talk about the cards. My white pool, like the physical white cards I own, is very shallow. So this deck is built of things that I had in my house, and so it's got some missing includes that we're going to talk about later on in the show that more exemplify why having your dudes be harder to kill is really important.
I think this is an excellent exercise for you as a deck builder and a player, because you built with what you had, so you didn't spend a whole ton of money on the list.
I've spent $11 on this list.
Oh, breaking the bank.
Right?
So you spend $11 and you play this garbage pile of junk. Just go with me on it.
Okay.
You play this garbage pile of junk. So when you're playing something that's underpowered in the meta that it's in, you have to play the crap out of it. So you're going to forcibly learn where to get your card advantage, where to stick that instant speed, whatever. You're going to get as most out of every card as you can. I encourage people, whenever they can, whenever they do build a deck, build what you think that you want it to be like, and then play it.
Absolutely. Build that. Like, take the pile of 100, sleeve it, and play it. And then the things that happen throughout the courses of games, tune for that. Don't just look at a list online and then build it, because you don't know what you're doing, and it might not be any fun for you, and you haven't really exercised any of your own creativity in building your deck.
How many games do you think before you change anything? Barring any like crazy, obviously bad, I don't know what I was thinking, barring that, or barring like, oh, I forgot I need 37 lands and I only put 31 in, like barring any of that stuff.
Well, we've played 3 games with it. I got blown out in one of them. I got just screwed in one of them, and I won one of them.
Ooh.
So I think I'm going to give it, I already have some stuff. I have a short list of things that will change as soon as I have the cards available to me, but I think I'm going to give it some time. I kind of like this deck.
Play it as it is.
Yeah, I like this deck, and it's not going to change a whole bunch, because I like what it does, I like the theory behind it, and I like where it's kind of pointed. And now that we've talked about it a lot, and I'm going to get hopefully some suggestions from CCO Nation, I think I like where this deck is going to go.
Specifically, what's going to change in this deck, I think, is you're probably going to take a version of something and just replace it with a better version of something.
A more Staxy version of something.
No, just more optimized.
Yeah, you're right. It is more optimized.
It's not more Staxy because you're not actually employing that strategy. But
hell no.
Just as an example, if there's a 2/2 for 3 and the same effect exists on a 2/2 for 2,
obviously
you play the 2/2 for 2 because it costs less mana.
Exactly. And there's lots of those coming out that we'll talk about again later in the show.
Now, a little bit different this week. We are going to group similar effects together for brevity's sake, so we can do a little bit more theory talk on some of the mono white kind of weird stuff that we want to cover.
Yes.
So I'm going to start off right away with the mass removal package. By my count, there are 9, let's call them sweepers. Things like Day of Judgment, Descend on the Sinful, Final Judgment, Fumigate, Martial Coup, Mass Calcify, Terminus, Phyrexian Rebirth, and Wrath of God. Boom.
Lots.
They all kill everything.
That's also the entire sorcery section.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So when we look at targeted removal, we've got 7 of those. And your Crib Swap, your Divine Offering, your Path to Exile, your Swords to Plowshares, those are all in there. Right? And they kill an artifact or a creature or exile something. Cool. We all know that those are good cards because you're spending 1 mana to kill like an 8/8 creature.
And that's never bad. That's that tempo advantage we were talking about lots in the last arc.
And super, super important in white because it has ways to kill creatures, kill enchantments, kill artifacts. And if you're spending less mana to kill them and your 1 card to kill their more expensive 1 card, that is good. Now, that is tempo advantage.
White also has that removal that, and this is key, removes it. It doesn't kill it. There's no getting it back because it's gone.
It's exiled.
And that's important to note.
There's like 2 cards in all of Magic that get something back from exile.
Are they both green?
One is white and one is green.
Excellent.
That I can think of.
There might be more, but if there's more, let us know. You have all of our social media coordinates.
Very much so. Now, the creature suite, I do want to spend some time on this. We've got 30 creatures, and I think white gains all of its card advantage on board because there are 0 card draw spells in this deck.
Correct.
And you specifically didn't put a couple in because you didn't want to just lean on that and say, this is how you make it good.
That's also correct. That's exactly why I didn't do it.
So what didn't you include?
Skull Clamp. Infiltration Lens is the other one. Both of them are equipments. Both of them draw you 2 cards by using your weenie tokens to draw cards.
And Mind's Eye, you mentioned before we recorded as well.
Yeah, that's a sellout one. We're not doing that.
You know what? I actually... Now, Skull Clamp, awesome.
Yeah, Skull Clamp will go in this deck eventually once we kind of get it tuned up. But for the purposes of this list, we're not going to play it because it's kind of the obvious way out.
Infiltration Lens and Mind's Eye, I feel, are kind of traps. Infiltration Lens, you have to attack. It's an equipment, and then you have to attack with it.
And it has to get blocked.
Okay, so just don't block it. What's your biggest guy besides, like... She got some big creatures, but mostly that's not what you're doing.
Yeah, you're looking at 1/1s, 2/2s.
Yeah. And Mind's Eye, you have to pay 1 every time somebody else draws a card. you're going to pay your 1 white that you have left over after you spend, 5 mana on your turn to draw a card, right? Like, no.
Yeah,
it's kind of a trap card. We've got some suggestions down at the end of the show for scrying and drawing in white.
Yes.
So let's do the creatures. Let's find some of these weird includes.
Start with Academy Rector.
This is a weird one because I didn't think, A, that you owned this card, and B, that we were going to talk about $80 cards.
Oops. Yeah, we are.
This is friend of the show, FU, Jesse, one of his favorite cards. It's a 1/2 for 4. Sounds terrible. When it dies, you can exile it to find an enchantment from your library, put it onto the battlefield.
Now, I play this one for 2 specific reasons.
Okay.
One of them is Heliod, God of the Sun, which we'll get to in a bit. Because if I happen to have a bunch of mana, it pumps out tokens like mad, which will interact with some other cards again that we're going to talk about later. The other one is Divine Visitation, new card from return to Ravnica, that turns all of your tokens into 4/4 flyers with vigilance.
Yes, turns all your 1/1 soldiers into Sarah Angels.
Yes. And that's awesome. And sometimes you just need to find that card.
You are using a 4 mana 1/2 as a way to on board get card quality, or let's call it token advantage, which does translate into card advantage when you can start to gang block, or when you can start to deter attacks to other people because you've got chump blockers or swarms of tokens.
Yeah, and when the swarms of tokens will eat you alive, you're way less likely to get attacked. If I have 10 1/1s, it's like, whatever, I'll just trample over you and kill you. If I have 10 4/4s, you're probably still going to attack me because you want me to die, otherwise I'm going to kill you, but you're probably not going to get through.
That's right.
Next up, we have Adorned Pouncer.
Now, this is a weird one, but you are going to get some recurring advantage out of it. It's a 1/1 for 2 with double strike, so really it attacks for 2, fine. It's got Eternalize. White, 3. You can return it from your graveyard to the battlefield as a 4/4.
Yes.
With double strike.
With double strike.
So it attacks for 8.
Correct.
So again, you are looking at getting it back onto the battlefield after you've got some amount of use out of it. You've dinked somebody for 2, 4, 6 damage, or you've blocked.
Yeah, maybe he's blocked all day. He's 2 damage to an incoming attacker, one of which is first strike. Is not negligible. Next up, we have Aven Mind Sensor.
We talked about this guy last week, didn't we?
Sure did.
Last week? Sure.
Recently, yeah.
He's got Flash, flying 2/1. When he enters the battlefield, opponents can only search the top 4 cards of their library.
That's forever. That's the static effect.
Yeah, so he's going to shut off advantage that you're not playing in this deck, save for Academy Rector.
Exactly. Burnished Heart.
Burnished Heart. Another way to get some kind of recurring card advantage or mana advantage if you can recur him. So he's a 2/2 for 3. He's 3, sack him, search for 2 basics, put him into the battlefield tapped.
It's a ramp spell.
Yeah.
Captain of the Watch.
Aha! Another way to get advantage on board. 3/3 Vig for 6. Other soldiers get +1/+1 and Vig. Okay, fine. When he enters the battlefield, you get 3 soldiers. They're all 1/1s. They all turn into 2/2s.
So you have 2/2s with, you get 3 2/2s with Vig.
So this speaks to me both in efficiency and that token advantage, or that board presence advantage, because you're getting 9 power for 6 mana.
That's a pretty good. That's green style straight up.
Yeah, I like it.
How about Children of Corliss?
This is okay. So this is a 1/1 for 1. Sack it. You gain life equal to the life you've lost this turn. So if you get Alpha Struck,
as long as you don't die, you can get it all back.
And it is recurable with your Sun Titan that you're playing. I think cat's out of the bag. We got to let people know we're playing Sun Titans so we can continue to point to it, because it's a very powerful card in this deck.
How about Krovax, Ascendant Hero?
He's a 4/4 for 6. He's a color-shifted card, originally from Planar Chaos?
Yes.
Yeah. Other white creatures get +1/+1. Non-white creatures get -1/-1. He might even act as a pseudo-wrath if somebody else is playing tokens.
He's kind of like Knight of Souls Betrayal for everybody who isn't playing white.
Yeah, like a mini Elish Norn is what I more liken him to. He's also got pay 2 life, return him to your hand. So you've got 2 cards in a row that reference life. I think there's going to be a common theme that when you gain life, you can actually just start taking attacks off your chin and leverage your life total like that. Kind of like black does to draw cards, except in white you're just taking it because you can gain it back incidentally.
You're trying hard not to die.
I'm not going to say incidental life gain is super good in mono white and that's the route that you take, but it sure doesn't hurt over the course of the game if you can gain 10 or 15 life. That's going to negate, some major attacks that have happened. Or some things that would have been obvious blocks to kill your thing, and you're just like, no, I'll take it. And you keep your thing, and then you gain that life back over the course of the game.
Next up, we have Darien, King of Keldor.
Oh, yeah. 6-drop 3/3. Whenever you are dealt damage, you can get that many 1/1 white soldiers.
Or if you have Divine Visitation, that many 4/4 angels.
That is great, but remember what I just said. You're more apt to take it off your chin now because you're going to get a whole bunch of 1/1s. And remember, they can't take damage. So after you get them, you can just block with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How about 8.5 tails?
2/2 for white. You pay white 1. Target permanent you control gains protection from white until end of turn. Okay, that's weird. You pay 1. Target spell or permanent becomes white until end of turn.
Cool.
So everything that you play is white. Who cares?
Yeah.
You just pay 1 to make a permanent or a spell white. I'm going to Doomblade your guy. Yeah.
No, not anymore, you're not.
Yeah. So excellent. You can block for days. If you don't have your commander, you can just block and make their thing white.
Pretty cool. Next up, we have Felidar Cub.
Okay. This kind of card is one of the ways that white specifically gets its card advantage on the table. White, 1, 2/2, sack Felidar Cub, destroy target enchantment.
Perfect.
So, I'm going to swing in at you with my Felidar Cub for 2 damage. If you block with your 3/3, I'm going to sack it and kill your enchantment.
Yeah.
So you're not going to block it because then your thing dies, right? Or...
And then I get you for 2 and I sack it and kill your thing anyway and you look like an asshole.
Not yet you don't.
Yeah.
Not yet you don't. Remember, you're learning how to play mono white.
All right.
You're going to keep hitting him for 2 until that enchantment is either going to give him too much value or he decides to block because he's done taking 2 damage. Then you just kill his thing.
I dig it.
That's important.
It is.
Okay, moving on.
Here's my favorite card in the deck.
Yeah,
this is my favorite card.
So bad.
It's not card of the week, though, I promise. It's Golden Glow Moth.
A 0/1 flyer for 1. Whenever he blocks, you gain 4 life.
But with our commander's enchantment, it blocks forever.
He doesn't take damage.
It just blocks everything forever and you just gain life. I really like that.
That's so sick. And you can use that life for taking hits.
Yeah, and also beautiful in foil.
Very much so. I actually have a foil of that. Still not going to be card of the week.
No, not card of the week. So we already talked about this guy a little bit, so Ryan will just run down what he does. Heliod, God of the Sun.
4-drop, 5/6, indestructible. Devotion to white has to be 5 or more, or else he's just an enchantment. Okay, fine. Other creatures you control have Vig. Excellent, because then they can block and attack, and they don't take damage when they block because you're commander.
That's right.
Sweet. Block for days. White, 2. You get a 2/1 white cleric enchantment creature token onto the battlefield.
Nice. It's a mana sink.
Mana sink for days, yeah, because you've got a whole bunch of ways to generate recurring mana with your Sun Titan.
Correct. Kami of False Hope.
1/1 for white. Sack Kami of False Hope. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn. Again, a way to deter attacks from you to another person. That is virtual card advantage because they're spending their card's worth of damage to go to someone else.
Yes. Knight of the Holy Nimbus.
This is a weird one. White for a 2/2 with flanking, and if it's destroyed, regenerate it. And anybody can pay 2 to make him not be regenerated this turn.
Neat.
They got to spend mana in addition to the mana that they're spending already to kill him. So he just taxes them for 2.
He's on the chopping block. He's just there because I have one, but he's a cool card still.
Yeah.
Knight of the White Orchid is next.
This one not on the chopping block. 2/2, first striker for white. When he enters the battlefield, if an opponent controls more lands than you, you search for 2 planes, put them onto the battlefield. 1 planes. So he's going to find you mana. He's a mana dork for sure.
How about Kythian, Hero of Akros?
Okay, so this I don't even know what this does. You read this.
I'll do it real fast. He's a 2/1 human soldier for white, and he has white 2. He's indestructible until end of turn. And at end of combat, If it and 2 other creatures attacks, it flips over into a... And once he flips over, he turns into Gideon Battleforged, a 3 loyalty planeswalker that has +2 up to 1 target creature has to attack him during its controller's next attack step, or +1, untap a creature you control, it becomes indestructible, or 0, it does the Gideon thing where he turns into I think it's a 4/4 indestructible, it doesn't take damage, and he's a shitty planeswalker. But again, it's a 1-drop that I own, so he's there.
And he's going to get you some recurring advantage. He is.
He'll get you something.
Yep.
All right, how about Leon and Arbiter?
2/2 for 2. Players can't search libraries. Any player may pay 2 for that player to ignore this effect until end of turn.
How about Martyr of Sands?
Here's another life gainer reoccurring advantage thing with your Sun Titan. I really like it. 1/1 for white. You can pay 1, reveal X white cards from your hand, sack Martyr of Sands. You gain 3 times X life.
Nice.
So, you reveal either creatures or wrath effects. You don't tip your hand for your instant speed removal, but if you reveal like Wrath of God and Day of Judgment and Final Judgment, you gain 3 times 3. You gain 9 life off of that, and nobody wants to play creatures because they're just going to play them right into your 3 wraths.
And they're going to eat shit, and they know that.
Yeah, and you're wrathing the table doing that without even casting your wraths.
We talked about that a couple of shows ago. We're like, that wrath just sitting there, you know it's coming. Nobody wants to play into it. It's perfect.
I like it.
It's a great political card. Next up, we have Mirren Crusader.
2/2 for 3, double strike, pro black, pro green. Just an efficient body there. He's not a soldier, so he's not going to get some of the advantage, but he's certainly not going to take damage. I don't know. I think maybe he could be one of your cuts again. Efficiency isn't giving you anything in terms of onboard advantage.
Correct. Next up, we have Plague Mirror.
I know why this is in here. It's a CCO staple.
Yes.
And there's another reason as well. It's a 2/2 for 1 with Infect. You can tap him for a colorless mana. If he somehow gets a whole bunch of +1/+1 counters on him, he could just attack for lethal.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nothing wrong with that.
I like that. How about Pre-Saint Captain?
This guy's cool too. White for 2/2. That's a theme. First strike. Human soldier. Whenever he deals he deals combat damage to a player, put a 1/1 white soldier creature token onto the battlefield.
He's tremendous. He's very good.
Yeah.
Now this card is he's a placeholder. I have one. He was foil. I put him in, and it's Revered Dead.
Revered
Dead.
Revered. I like
Revered.
I like Revered.
Revered Dead. By Tyrese Nielsen.
1/1 for 2 white. Regenerate him.
It's a Drudge Skeleton.
Oh yeah, it is.
That's what it is. Next up, we have Soul Warden.
Oh man. 1/1 for white. Whenever a creature enters the battlefield, gain a life. Whenever a creature.
How about Squall Drifter?
Squall. 1/1 flyer for 2. You can pay white and tap him to tap a creature. Now I included that in your targeted removal section because there's your 1 mana.
Remove a dude from combat. Essentially, like he can't be used anymore. He's out of the way. He might as well be removed. He's very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, we talked about this guy lots already. Sun Titan.
6/6 Vig Giant for 6. When he enters a battlefield or attacks, you get a 3-drop or less back onto the battlefield. So your Burnished Heart, your Martyr of Sands, your whatever that died, you're going to get him back.
Your Wall of Omens.
Yes, your Wall of Omens. When he enters the battlefield, draw a card. Hey, that's your 1 card draw spell. I thought that Sun Titan was the closest analog to draw a card in this deck, but no, Wall of Omens is because it says draw a card on it.
Yes. You know what else you can get back with Sun Titan? Thalia Heretic Cathar.
Yeah, 3/2 for 3, first strike, human soldier. Creatures and non-basic lands your opponents control enter the battlefield tapped. Just a way to slow them down if anything has haste. It gives you an extra turn to plan.
The last creature is a White Knight.
White for a 2/2 human knight, first strike, pro black. Another potential cut, but I mean, he's got pro black, so even if you don't have your commander, you can dink the black player a bunch of times.
He'll be cut from the team immediately.
Sweet.
Sweet.
I like it.
Let's do some the remaining instants real quick.
They both go into the same category. Secure the Wastes and White Sun Zenith. Both instant speed give you X tokens.
Correct. Also an Enlightened Tutor. Finds an enchantment or artifact, puts it on top of your library.
Super important for sure. Going back to the token makers, though, instant speed, you can do it at the end of the turn after you've gotten a bunch of advantage from your Sun Titan and Burnished Heart. You've got like 10 mana on the battlefield. It's like, boom, I'll make 6, 8, 10, whatever, 1/1 tokens. If you found your Cathar's Crusade with your Enlightened Tutor, now you've got 10 10/10s. If you've got your Anointed Procession, now you've got 20 20/20s.
Yeah. Like that lots. We already talked about Divine Visitation.
You got 24 24s if you got all 3 of those.
Okay, all right, let's do the remaining enchantments. We already talked Anointed Procession, Cathar's Crusade, Divine Visitation. How about Ghostly Prison?
Ghostly Prison taxes people for 2 mana if they want to attack you. Somebody has to pay mana to do something to you. They're just going to do it to somebody else. That card saves you damage, and if it doesn't, it costs them mana.
How about Rest in Peace?
Enters the battlefield, exile graveyards, and if something would go to the graveyard, exile it. Little bit of a non-bow with your Sun Titan, but it is going to shut off any graveyard shenanigans that are probably better than Sun Titan because they're in black.
Yeah, sometimes you just have to own Reanimator. Let's just be honest.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just have to do that. Retreat to Emiria.
Ooh, 4-drop with landfall. When you play a land, you get a 1/1 core ally, or creatures you control get +1/+1 until end of turn. If you have like a fetch land or something, you can give +2, which is great.
Yeah.
Myriad Landscape gives +3.
Yeah.
That's okay. That's like an overrun without trample.
That's okay.
Okay.
Seal of Cleansing.
Another Rattlesnaker. If you attack me, I'll kill your enchantment, because you just sacrifice Seal of Cleansing to destroy an artifact or enchantment for 2 mana.
Here's a card that I was shocked at the price.
This card is so expensive.
Runed Halo.
White. As Runed Halo enters the battlefield, name a card. You have protection from the chosen card.
That's it.
Name somebody's commander. After you're the only 2 players in the game, name somebody's commander. Name somebody's whatever.
I played it against Smitty, and I got protection from his Niv Mizzet.
Niv Mizzet Perun.
I don't think that deck could have killed me.
No, I don't think so.
In that case.
Excellent.
All right, the last one. Ryan says it's a trap card. I think it's a trap card where people lean too heavily on it. So let's talk Endless Horizons.
Okay. White, 3. When it enters the battlefield, search your library for any number of planes, exile them. Then, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may put a planes card you own removed from the game, exiled with Endless Horizons, into your hand. So you draw your card, and you get a planes. So you always get a planes.
Yes.
Unless they destroy it.
Also yes.
What if you don't? Like, if you remove all your planes, so you can always draw 2 cards, and they destroy it, then you have no more land in your deck.
You never do that. Never, ever.
Okay, so you remove 5 planes cards with it. You get your planes during your turn. Then you draw planes. Now you've just got 2 planes in your hand when you wanted to draw a normal card.
That is super shitty, and I think it's a trade-off that you have to take for a little bit of mana fixing in white. The most I've ever removed with an Endless Horizons is 4.
Ooh, not very many.
Not very many, because it gives you... White's cheap. It's inexpensive to play most of your spells. So those, you've already got 4 because you played Endless Horizons. You get at least 4 more. You're guaranteed 4 more.
You're not, because they can just destroy it and you don't get any more.
Unless they destroy it.
Yes.
But let's just pretend that they're going to be worrying more about your Sun Titan and your Iona and your Avacyn and all these other things that they're going to try and destroy. And they'll kind of leave your mana fixer alone.
Hold on a second. We didn't cover Iona or Avacyn in the Creature Suite.
We're playing Iona and Avacyn in the Creature Suite. They are bomb-ass motherfuckers, and you need to watch out for them. So Endless Horizons, I think, would fly under the radar long enough for you to get 2 or 3, and if you miss 1 or 2 planes off of it, no big deal. And you don't play it when you have a mitt full of planes, and then you just hope. You just hope. A lot of this deck is about hope and luck, which I think is lots of fun, where every draw you make is either going to be something awesome, or it's going to be a planes.
Yeah. You know what I like? You know what I like finding Endless Horizons when you have like 10 planes already, and then you just nuke the rest of the planes out of your deck, so it's only gas. I like it then.
Sure.
I also like it less than land tax. Maybe if you get a land tax, you put it in instead.
Yes, I don't have one, so here we are. All right, let's talk some artifacts.
8 of them.
Let's start off with Chroma's Memorial.
This is how you take that token advantage we were talking about and drive it all the way home.
Right into their butts.
7-drop. Legendary artifact. Creatures you control have flying, first strike, vidge, tramp, haste, protection from red and from black. I had to actually read all of those abilities.
That's so many things. It's
yes.
so good. Next up, we have a card that's going to go along with something that I'm going to talk about after we're done the creature suite. I just haven't put it in yet. In Ashnod's Altar.
This is kind of weird. 3-drop, sack a creature, get 2 colorless mana. You could sack all your current tokens to pump your X token-making spells and then get a bunch of life with your Soul Warden.
There's another thing that you can do with it, and I'm going to talk about it in a second.
Okay.
Next up, we have Explorer's Scope.
1-drop equipment. Equips for 1 when equipped creature attacks. Look at the top card of your library. If it's a basic land card, if it's a land card, you can put it onto the battlefield tapped. So it's kind of like ramp.
We're trying.
Okay.
We're trying hard. Gilded Lotus.
Definitely a ramp card. 5-drop for tapping. You tap it. That's how that works. And you get 3 mana of any one color. In this case, I would imagine you get white.
Definitely.
Yes.
I have a Sol Ring. Thought Vessel.
No max hand size. 2-drop that gives you 1. I think the 2-drop that gives you 1 mana are super underrated because all of them do something else as well.
For this one, I just don't have one. I didn't have one handy. It should be a Fractured Power Stone. That's the one that lets you roll the planar die.
Oh, yeah.
But just because it has more, because with white, you're never going to have 10 cards in your hand.
Yeah.
So this is kind of pointless, but it'll get switched out. Next up, we have Ward of Bones.
I like this guy. 6-drop. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't cast creature spells. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands.
It forces people to deal with you at parity.
Gets down to your level, essentially.
So if you're hosed, they're hosed.
The only thing I see about this is if you are starting to make tokens, everybody can cast lots of creatures, but your creatures get all the damage prevented to them, so you can just block.
Correct.
So unless you're getting out-tokened, you're probably okay.
Next up, lastly, we have Wayfarer's Bauble.
1-drop, pay 2, tap, sack, and you search your library for a basic land, put it onto play, tapped.
Yeah.
And again, lots of those work well with Sun Titan.
Correct.
Yeah, I like it.
And that's the whole deck.
Yeah, what do you think?
I think it's okay for a first attempt.
Okay. Some stinkers.
It's got some stinkers. It's got some holes, some glaringly obvious includes that I should have made. Like probably good, good Planeswalker, white 4 makes 3 guys for her plus ability.
Yeah, Elspeth Sun's Champion.
Yeah, she should probably be in here.
That card is really good.
But I don't have one, so she's not in. I don't really want to get one, so the odds are she's probably not going in. Honestly, I don't want to be the guy that plays Avacyn Sun's Champion, so...
Elspeth, Avacyn, whatever.
Shut up.
Strengths and weaknesses?
Let's do some strengths and weaknesses.
Okay, so we're going to roll the strengths and weaknesses into what we already talked about with the token advantage and the gaining card advantage by affecting the board state. Your Wraths, your tokens, your Akroma's Memorial, and your Ward of Bones. We're going to roll the weaknesses into the things that you're hinting at including, besides Elspeth. So, strength. I think this kind of deck can switch gears. You can go kind of control almost Staxy in the early game with your Thalia and your Ward of Bones. I know that's not super early because it's a 6-drop, but if you hit a couple mana rocks, then people just can't do their game. It can switch gears into the end game with token production and Avacyn and Anointed Procession, blah, 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 and play early or aggro. Or vice versa. You can hit your 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, 4-drop and just start banging people for 10 damage. And then in the late game, you get your Avacyn and then you just block all day. You Wrath because they can't kill you. Like Avacyn keeps your things alive. Wrath until you can Alpha Strike.
It's pretty cool.
Switches gears.
Yeah, I like that a lot. And it doesn't suffer from that, all of my 2/2 weenies are getting killed off on your creatures late game because they don't take damage from attacking. Even if you're only swinging in for 2, you're still maybe getting rid of some of their small blockers, their token blockers, their utility creatures because you're swinging at them with 8 guys that don't die and they have vigilance from 8 different things. So you're attacking, you're blocking, and while you're only whittling, eventually that's going to win. That's how rivers get made.
Very much so. And even if you're not the one that knocks the player out, if somebody's at 20 because you've been dinking them the whole game, and then some other player hits them for the last 20 all at once,
you can take half the credit.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I like it. Gains advantage in atypical fashions. Remember we said, I've got this rattlesnake card. If you attack me, I'll kill your thing. Oh, then you're going to attack somebody else.
You can play a highly political game with this deck because you can just say, why are you attacking me? I'm just going to block it. I did that in the first game where Evan had that Kraken thing that makes squid tokens, And it was like
Chasm Skulker.
And it's a 9/9, and he's not going to attack me because I have a 1/1 that won't die.
Very much
So why would you bother attacking me? So he attacked you and Smitty for the whole game.
Yep.
Because he couldn't get through me. It's a very political deck. It gives you advantage that way.
Here's one we didn't cover in the deck tech proper. You're playing 36 land. In monocolored decks, there is so much room for utility. What do we always say?
Play your utility lands, kids.
Moving over to the weakness. Plural.
Can I say the first one?
Sure.
It's mono white, and white isn't very strong.
Yeah. This deck specifically, with your on purpose excludes, no card draw.
Very little card draw.
Yeah. It doesn't get real card advantage. That is, cards in hand that used to be in your library. And even if it did, it doesn't play any huge, meaningful, fast mana or huge mana like black can get, for example.
Right.
So even if you did somehow draw 10 cards, what are you going to do? Cast like 2 spells?
You're going to cast 2 of them, and they're probably going to be small.
Then you're going to discard, unless you get your Thought Vessel, in which case you just like wasted a mana, right? Like whatever. So I don't know. What do you think the weaknesses are after playing this particular deck 3 times? What kinds of things are you going to watch out for or try to avoid playing this deck 3 more times before you change it?
This is a deck that I dread the day when I sit down with something with a lot of synergy or is a really fast combo deck, because it has no... It can switch gears, it can do all sorts of stuff, but it can't interact on either of those axes. Mm-hmm. It can't do that. So if you're going to just use Zata to combo me and then kill me with a Aetherflux Reservoir, what am I going to do? I'm going to be like, okay.
I think it can interact, but you have no way to find that interaction. You're not topping, you're not digging, you're not tutoring. If you're tutoring for an enchantment. It's not like you can just instant speed tutor for your disenchant to get my Aetherflux Reservoir before I storm. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a...
Can't dig.
Yeah, and that's never good. The only cards you see are the cards that you draw off the top, and that's a severe limitation, and it is... I mean, I guess I kind of built it in here on purpose, but we're going to find ways around that or find ways of working with it.
Ooh.
Nice.
So maybe we roll into that right now.
Before that, I just want to talk about one other weakness. This is my big weakness in white.
Sure.
And I just wanted to mention it real quick. We can talk about it a little bit more if you like. I think that white, if you want to play it on its own, has the shallowest card pool. Oh. Like when we said we're playing mono white, I guarantee you every single person in CCO Nation, and you're listening to this, you know that this is true, immediately off the top of your head said Swords Path, Wrath, Sun Titan, on down the list. Because white only has so many cards that do certain things. You thought land tax. You thought disenchant, because it's the best way of doing anything. Avacyn, Iona, what else would I play? It's mono white. What else are you going to do with it? You're not comboing. So you got to play those cards. And it kind of pigeonholes you. White in itself has the Zata effect on it.
The whole color.
Because some of the stuff is just bad. Kytheon is just bad. He's just a bad card.
Specifically bad in multiplayer Commander.
Yes,
I think that's important.
Yeah, the cards aren't bad cards. Like, they're super good at tempo. They're good cards. It's just not good when you're playing against a 5-color Sliver Queen combo or against Big Daddy Black or a super tuned...
Do not Google that!
Or a really tuned, even a faster token list, like a Krenko list.
Yeah.
It's going to be hard to fight through that.
More Wraths.
I can't play any more Wraths, Ryan. I only own one more, and it lets you keep some of your shit.
Yeah, not good. Okay, so let's talk about maybe how to improve this deck really quick. Mentor of the Meek. On your list?
Mentor of the Meek is on my list.
Whenever you get a small dude, power 2 or less, you pay 1, you draw a card.
It's like Mind's Eye, but on a dude.
And it costs less.
Yeah.
And you can draw cards more often.
Yeah.
Which means you draw more cards.
Yes.
That's all of those things are good.
All those things are fucking excellent.
Okay. 100-handed one.
That's not on my list.
Yeah. When he becomes monstrous, he can block 99 additional creatures. Guess how much damage he takes by blocking 99 additional creatures?
0.
A big fat 0. Okay. 25 cents.
Nice. I like
the
that a lot.
value of your deck just went through the floor because you cut an expensive card for 100-handed one. Okay. Skull Clamp, we talked about. Infiltration Lens, we talked about.
Yep.
I like classic from Ice Age. I've mentioned it on the show before. Inheritance. Enchantment for white. Whenever a creature dies, you can pay 3. If you do, draw a card. So you're still paying mana to draw cards, but you can do it whenever the hell you want when a creature dies.
I just remembered this one off the top of my brain. Weathered Bodyguards. It's a 2/5 for white 5. As long as he's untapped, all damage that would be dealt to you is dealt to it instead.
So you just don't block or attack with him and just like, well, I guess you can block with him.
And he's a soldier, so he'll have vigilance eventually.
Yeah.
And he'll just get beat down instead of you.
I think 100-handed one and him are both in the stock list on EDH.
Oh.
And which is fine. Lots of things that can block additional creatures are in the Kitsune Ascendant stock list, and just lends itself back to our point that we're trying to make, that you can achieve card advantage by not taking damage or negating cards that they've played by just blocking them and your thing not dying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah,
now,
I like that.
I have one more thing that I want to talk about.
Okay.
We're playing mono colors. This version, we're playing white. You had mentioned that you're going to draw lots of planes.
Yes.
I would implore CCO Nation to most definitely play lots of utility lands in mono colors, because they're going to let you get that advantage that we're talking about. Now, I'm talking about cards like New Benalia.
That's the one that when it dies, you get another planes, or is that the one that when it comes into play, you scry?
You scry one. I'm talking about Terrain Generator.
That's a good one.
You can put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield, but with that land's activated ability. It costs like 2
I think it's 2 in tap.
2 in tap to get another land. Nykthos, Shrine to Nyx. You get color of your choice equal to your devotion to that color.
In white, you're going to have lots.
Yeah, with your Iona and your Avacyn, that land is going to give you 6 mana.
Nice.
Temple of the False God. I know that you hate this card.
I hate it.
You feel like it's a trap.
I hate it.
But this card in a monocolor list is going to let you get a little bit more advantage.
I hate it.
If you're playing fast mana or black, you probably don't play it. But in mono white, you could make a case.
CCO Nation, you can play it. I'm not going to.
I like Deserted Temple. I like Arch of Araska. That one actually lets you draw cards. And then additional card drawing lands, Drifting Meadows, Secluded Steppe, Desert of the True, they all have cycling, and Windbrisk Heights. The hideaway white one, if you attack with 3 or more creatures, you get whatever's hid away underneath it.
Ooh, I like that one.
For just like a white mana or something.
I like that.
So those are all ways to get additional advantage in white.
Wish I had my pen and write that one down. Windbrisk Heights, that's really good.
I have them all written down.
Excellent.
You've got one more card, then we're going to go to the milk list.
I have 2 other cards I want to talk about.
2?
2. Actually 3. Let's say 3. It's real quick. I'm going to do them real fast. One of them is a card that I just want to put in this deck really bad because I hate it so much, and I want to be that guy. I want to know how it feels. And that card is Kitsune Ascendant. That's a 1/1 for 1, where if you have 30 or more life, it becomes a 6/6 flyer with lifelink.
Dude, that card is so dang good.
That's your turn 1.
Yes.
That's turn 1 every game. Holy crap.
I like that card.
I like that a lot. The other one, suggestion, big FU out there to Dean Goody for bringing this one to my attention. Spirit of the Labyrinth. Opponents can only draw 1 card per turn. Brings down that parity. So white has the disadvantage. It doesn't draw very many cards. Now everybody else has that same 1 card a turn handicap that you have. That's never bad.
Yeah, I like that one.
And
I also like Aethersworn Canonist. Players can only play 1 spell per turn.
1 non-artifact spell per turn.
I'm okay with that.
It's still pretty good. And the card, I made reference to this one a little while ago with Ashnod's Altar. I want to play it with Enduring Renewal, which is an enchantment for white 2. Play with your hand revealed. Whenever you would draw a card, you reveal it instead. If it's a creature, it goes to your bin. If not, you draw that card. And then whenever a creature is put into your graveyard from play, you return it to your hand.
Okay.
So it lets me play all of my good things and just save them forever. I can I can sack all my dudes for mana to play a Wrath the board,
because you're getting your creature back when you sacrifice it for mana.
and then I can play all those dudes again.
Yeah, and with your...
It's not an infinite cycle, but I mean, you could, if you have a bunch of mana, you could Wrath the board, save your Sun Titan, Sun Titan, Sun Titan, Sun Titan, Sun Titan. Or if somebody tries to remove your Avacyn or your Iona from the game, you sack them to get them back in your hand to save them.
And then anything small that you can do that a couple times with is going to be good with your Soul Warden. Gain you some life back.
Or you could do it with Wall of Omens. There's all kinds of little advantage things that you can get. And I mean, yeah, you're going to not draw any more creatures, but you'd only play this when you've got a few good creatures. So it's a good top deck when your hand's empty and you pull it up and you're like, oh shit, but your dudes are sitting there. If they die, you get them back. I just like that spell. I like this card. Yeah. This will give me an opportunity.
Lots of good ways to cast that or to play that card for sure. Should we do Milk List?
How about instead we do Card of the Week? Card of the Week this week. First card in our giveaway.
Oh, baby.
Cathar's Crusade.
This card goes not in every mono white deck, but everyone that plays creatures. I got blown the hell out on this card by this card just this week.
Yep. I played Cathar's Crusade. Ryan didn't destroy it. We'll talk about that probably later on at some point. And then I followed it up with a Martial Coup for 5 or 6.
So the X was 6, so you destroyed all creatures. Then you got 6 1/1s. They all got +6/+6 from Cathar's Crusade.
And then I beat everybody to death with them.
Yeah, it was bad.
Yeah, I went from being totally screwed to just 2-pump chumping the whole table.
Excellent.
Felt real good.
So if you want to win a foil Cathar's Crusade, get onto YouTube. You can subscribe if you haven't already. Give us a comment and let us know what you think of the new video content.
Yeah. So you help us improve, and we'll try and upgrade your collection with some sweet cards, starting with a foil Cathar's Crusade.
Most def. Now, Milk List?
That new and improved Milk List.
Very much so. So what do we mean? We mean that we've got the top 3 cards from each color combination on EDHREC.com. Today, mono white.
Or as the kids like to call it, vanilla.
Okay. At the 0-drop slot, most popular card, we aren't playing it because you're not playing any 0-drops, but it is a Quarters Shield. It's an equipment.
No, I don't have it.
It goes in SRAM, Cheerios, and like a bunch of different 0-drop type. You don't have it. Okay.
Yeah, the hell with that card.
Top 3 1-drops. Let's look at these. The top 1-drop as of this list, Swords to Plowshares.
More than Sol Ring?
By 2 decks.
Wow.
Yep.
All right, but yes, we are playing Swords to Plowshares.
How about Sol Ring?
Of course.
How about Path to Exile?
Of course.
Yeah, okay, so we're going to count that as one Milk List match.
Yeah, we're not going to match all 3.
At the 2-drop slot, Swiftfoot Boots.
Nope.
Oblivion Ring at 3.
Nope.
Return to Dust at 4.
Nope.
That might be an okay one. Cathar's Crusade.
Of course.
Definitely playing that. Yeah. That's card of the week. Sun Titan at 6.
Def.
Emeria Shepherd at 7.
Nope.
No, but that would be a good one to get additional advantage. When you drop a planes, you get a guy back from your graveyard to the battlefield.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, definitely good. Reanimator in white.
I should play that, yeah.
Avacyn, Angel of Hope.
Yep.
9 is Iona, Shield of Emeria.
Yeah.
Yes. Stormherd.
No.
No, I like that one, though. Ulamog, the Infinite Gyre.
Nope.
Blightsteel Colossus.
Nope.
Emrakul, the Promised End.
Nope.
Fast forward to 16 drop. Draco.
What the fuck?
It's in one list.
What the hell?
I don't know. I like that guy, though. We should have him on.
We should find that guy and have him on the show. What the hell's the matter with you?
Yeah, what are you, some kind of lunatic? 5 Milk List matches.
Speaks very closely to the shallow card pool.
Yeah, usually in your list, you'll have 2 or 3 Milk List matches. Today, 5.
5, that's lots.
You suck.
And if you count all of those 1-drop ones, it's 7.
Yeah, that might as well be 100.
Yeah, might as well just have all of them.
Speaking of 100, do you think we hit that on the spice calculator?
Well, based on what we just talked about, probably not, but let's see. Let's check.
Okay, well, based on 2 tutors in the list, with your Academy Rector and your Enlightened Tutor, 170 lists on EDHREC.com for Kitsune, what's his name? Runetail?
Runetail Kitsune Ascendant.
16th most popular.
Is super far. I honestly thought that he would be higher.
I thought it'd be farther.
Really?
Like farther down,
yeah. Oh, I thought that based on his ability, you'd want to play him. He's actually underneath Kytheon.
Yeah.
And that card sucks.
I think it's just because it's a 1-drop with 2 power.
But it sucks.
Yeah.
Play Isimaru, Hound of Konda. It's better.
It's better because it doesn't flip. You can keep damaging people.
Right, you can keep your commander damage. Oh my god.
Mind you, you can deal 4 damage with Gideon once he's flipped. Average converted mana cost, 3.27.
That's classic EDH standard.
Yeah, it would be much lower if you didn't have the Avacyns and the Ionas and what have you, right? But whatever. critical turn 5, 6, 8, 22. Like, you're not breaking any land speed records.
No, never ever.
And optimal game size. Do you think this deck can win the 4-player, 5-player, 6-player games?
Truth be told, I think that this is the deck that you never, ever want to run into in a 6-player game. And here's why.
That means that you think the deck is good more players.
It is good the more players that you're playing against, because your guys have mad staying power.
Yeah.
The longer the game goes, the more of your big ass shit you're going to get to play.
More rattlesnake power.
Yeah, more rattlesnake power you're going on. Plus, you're packing 9 Wraths.
Yeah, and Wraths get better when you have more opponents because you're going to get more cards with them.
Yep. And you're the one that's going to be sitting there like, nope, doing nothing really. You got some tokens, but your guys aren't going to die. There's lots of other targets. People are attacking everybody else. And then you just swoop in and knock 10 off somebody and kill them. Then you wrath the board to make sure there's no crackbacks.
Excellent.
And you can do that over and over and over again.
Yep. And I think we're the only guys on the planet that play 6-player games. I entered it into the formula.
There it is.
2 tutors, uniqueness ratings, cards different than EDHREC.com, stock list 36.
That's more than I thought.
That's decent.
I actually thought that's more than I actually thought I was going to get.
Spice calculator. Punch it all in. 46.6. It's the 2 tutors that hurt you.
Yeah, it's close. I think that it's close enough that I think it would give you like we say, it's gear shifting. It's got lots of different modes it can go into. Varied gameplay experience. That's what we're for, and it's close enough to the 50 test that I'll count it.
You know what? I got this. You don't want to spend $80 on the Academy Rector, but you want to try a mono whitelist in a 6-player game? If that's you, cut the Academy Rector, put in like a utility land or something that we suggested, Venture the Meek.
Play Armored Ascension.
Got it.
There you go.
57 spicy.
Yes.
With that Academy Rector getting cut.
Wait, hang on just a second. Academy Rectors are $80?
I tell you that almost every week, and every week you say, what?
Maybe I'd blot it from my mind because it hurts me.
Yes. They're around $80.
God damn it. Is it American?
Yes.
That's a mortgage payment, Canadian. Whew, whew.
So that's the list. First list in Arc of Mono Problematic. Did we tackle the problems that... We didn't tackle the problems that the color has because we didn't change anything. We just gave you some ideas on how to eke that advantage, wring it out of the deck, right?
We talk about embracing the problem in this particular case. White doesn't draw cards. It's never going to be good at drawing cards, digging for cards, finding answers. So you got to find a way to just embrace that. You got to play creatures like we talked about during the list, like your Spirit of the Labyrinth, like your
Mentor of the Meek,
like your Aethersworn Canonist, like your Grand Abolisher, creatures that make it so that other players have to play your shitty game. Drag them down to your level.
And if they don't, just wrath the board until they want to die.
Exactly, or just wrath the board and then play those creatures so that they're playing your shitty game. You can wrestle people onto your game plan with the permanence that you play. And if you really just focus on the fact that that's what you're doing and you're not going to outsmart anybody with a white deck, you got to rattlesnake people with the shit that you have. You got to bluff people with the shit that you have and that one untapped plains and that one card in your hand.
Ooh.
That's how you keep people off you in mono white, and that's how you solve the problem. There's other ways around it. You could build Bomberman combo if you're a douche, but that's not what we're going to do here on Commander Cookout. So overall, I think this deck is lots of fun, and I know that because I've played it. I think it's going to be more fun once I've put in some of Ryan's suggestions, some of my own research, and hopefully some suggestions from you guys. I hope that some of you do go out and drop the $500 it takes to build this deck.
It's not $500. You just got foils in there because you actually own this deck.
Oh, yeah, right. So it'd be way less than that.
The $4 it takes to build this deck.
Yeah, the $4.2 it would take to build this deck in real life. Go out, play it, have some fun. If you have some suggestions that we missed, please let us know. Maybe you could even put them in a YouTube comment where you could be entered to win our super sweet foil card of the week for a week giveaway. That brings us to the end of another exciting episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. We're going to follow the Wooburg wheel around for next week. We're going to do a mono blue list.
Oh, baby.
What faults does mono blue have? What's the holes in its game?
Let me ask you a different question. What could be worse than mono white, Brando?
Mono blue. And we're going to do that for you guys on the next episode of Commander Cookout Podcast. Hit our theme song!